day out there, and you're welcome to another edition of your program Flip Chart. My name is Biodun. Today we'll be looking at a national issue, raging issue actually, something that is actually be putting Nigeria Christendom on the map, and of course that is the issue concerning the rape allegation against the pastor of the Commonwealth of All Nations Zion Church. Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo, and today I have a guest with me in the studio who happened to be his childhood friend. In fact, they grew up in the same neighborhood in Loring, and it's going to be a very revealing session with him today. I'm talking about Pastor Kayode Adeyemi. You're welcome, Pastor.
Thank you, sir.
Pastor, tell me, how do you know you are called by God?
Well,
Because these issues of men of God involved in adultery, in rape, and all the allegations all over the place, put to question who is really called by God. How do you know that you are called by God?
well, it is the only one that said he is called by God that can explain how God has called him, that is the interaction between him and God, the source of his calling, and his conviction, his personal conviction. So I have this personal conviction that truly I've been called by God into the ministry.
Were you engaged by God in a dream, or on a field, or in the middle of nowhere?
Well, God has so many avenues of speaking to his people. In the dream, in a vision, that vision of the night, in an open vision. Of course, the inner mind, that is the still small voice. And of course, in all these aspects, I heard God clearly about the ministry. So that is it.
So God calls those
God
he wants to work for him.
Yes.
But what actually is responsible for the failings of these men that claim to be called by God? What calls for the failings,
You see, if you are called by God, the first thing is to surrender yourself to be tutored. Some of these men, or some who say they are called by God, never have a source. When I mean a source, they cannot point to somebody who tutored them, who brought them in the way of the Lord. Like in my own case, of blessed memory, I was tutored by Prophet Daniel Adeshino, a man that never established the church, a prophet by calling, and I was there with him for 5 years. And I could remember vividly December 19, 1995, during the time of his calling, or when I got to him, he never laid his hand upon anyone. And people came from far and near to come and see him for counseling, for spiritual guidance. And I've never seen him lay hands on anyone. And there was a day I took a man of God to him that he should lay his hand on the man of God. And he said to me in Yoruba that, "She will if you go to Toreni." And he refused to lay his hand upon the man of God, even though he told me that secretly. And December 19, 1995, immediately at Oshogo, I felt the urge to see him. So when I went there, I met him. He was down, and I was told that for 5 days, Baba, I've refused to eat. And when I entered into the room where he was, he stood up and said, "You are the one delaying me." I said, "Baba, am I delaying?" He said, "You are the one delaying me. I've been waiting for you." And that particular day, unforgettable date of my life, he laid his hand on me at around 12 noon, December 19, 1995, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he gave up the ghost. So, and he told me before he died, he said, "I have raised an Elisha." That was what he told me. And that same day, he died. So that has been my experience. So if anybody said, or is claiming that he is called of God, ask him to show you his or a spiritual father or mentor. And of course, along the line, if God has called somebody along the line, I think you should link up yourself with a mentor for the purpose of guidance. of course, to gain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as far as the ministry is concerned. God don't just call you and you just come and say, God has called me, then the next thing is you establish the church. No. I've been called into the ministry for the past 20 years or thereabout, and of course the church that the Lord has put me in charge, we just clocked 9 by October this year. So under training from one minister of God to another, to gain access to ask questions of how to go about it so as to be successful. One thing is to start well, another thing is to end it well. So that is it.
Okay, that is the fact that we get to know a lot of drama playing out in the church, whereby somebody has been under administration or guidance of a particular pastor, and then he wants to leave. They live in rancor. Is that spiritual?
Well, like a lady came to me today for counseling, and this particular issue came up. And I told her that, for instance, in the church where God put me as the head, because the church belongs to God and not to any man, there was an evangelist that is being trained. And one day he just came to me and said, the Lord said he should move forward. I was like, moving to where? To go and do what? He said God told him it is time for him to go. And this is not a man that, you see, have some lapses. You see, have some things to know as far as the ministry is concerned. I didn't even want to call him half-baked. Not even baked at all. And he said, the Lord said he should go ahead. And what do I do? You are free to go. I will never hold somebody into ransom. No. I've seen a situation whereby trying to tutor some people in the church and they commit one thing or the other, and the moment you want to met out discipline, you become another thing. You become their enemies. So you see, as a member of the church, and of course as young men of today who just want to get money at all costs. So that is why you don't see genuinely baked men of God being released to the world.
And that takes me to the next question,
Yes, sir.
Which is our central focus in this interview today.
Okay.
And that has to do with the rape allegation against the Coza pastor, Biodun Fatoyinbo. You grew up in the same neighborhood in Ilorin.
By the grace
What
of
kind
God.
of person will you say?
Well, growing up with Biodun Fatoyinbo, let me be frank at this junction that there's nothing like rape allegation against him. When we are growing up.
Okay.
I've never heard such about him. We grew up in the same area. My dad worked under his dad.
Where?
Then his dad was the administrator of the Kwara State.
Oh, the
printing.
newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay.
And while my dad was the chief sub-editor. So, of course, we live in the same environment. Our house is not too far from theirs. And of course, I've never heard such a thing about him. I could remember vividly that there was a time, precisely 1990, that a rape allegation was leveled against me.
You?
Yes.
Oh.
Then, of course, I'm not yet a servant of God there. I just left the
How old were you then?
I think I should be 18 or thereabouts.
Okay. So you had a girlfriend
Of course.
that
That-
did you rape her or
I've never raped
okay.
a girl in my life, and I will not do that.
But-
I did not rape this particular girl.
So how did the matter come up?
You see,
You have been accused of being a rapist.
this is a girl that, if I tell you, you won't believe it. I was in primary 6 while she was in primary 3, and we have started, of course, you know,
Yeah.
my girl, my boy.
Mommy and daddy too.
Of course, and of course, you see, her dad and my dad, they are very close friends. I would say my dad served her dad while her dad was a pastor.
Which church?
Christ Apostolic Church.
Oh, great. See.
So along the line, of course, we grew up. I entered into the secondary school. She entered into secondary school. Of course, she attended the University of Ilorin Secondary School. And for 9 years, honestly speaking, we always be at a secluded place together. I never.
So it was purely platonic.
I never touched her. The extent.
You must be an angel.
I'm not an angel. I just believe in what we are hearing from the church.
Okay, you were a church boy then.
Of course.
Okay.
Likewise, Biodun Fatoyinbo happens to be a church boy. He loved the things of God. We play musical instruments together.
From
I'm telling you.
that teenage.
Of course. Biodun Fatoyinbo has been part of God's thing. Likewise, myself. I played the drums for my church and even for my school choir. That is Cherubim and Seraphim College. But along the line, something I would not like to talk about happened between my dad and this girl's dad.
Okay.
And maybe in a way to fight back, I wouldn't know. There was this rape allegation. Oh, Kayode raped, so I won't mention name. I'm not going to mention name. And the next thing, I was at home one evening, just relaxing at the balcony. Then Abi just came. I called him Abi.
That's Biodun Fatoyinbo. He came to your
He
home.
came to my home and said, "Kay, let's go to." I don't want to mention the name of the church too. Let's go to one church. Let's go and play musical instruments.
You should mention, since you want to set the record straight.
Okay. So, this fateful evening, I was lying down at the balcony and Biodun Fatoyinbo just came and said, "Kay, hey, come, let's go to Holy Ghost Caucus Church. They have just purchased the musical instrument. Let's go and play for them."
Right.
And I don't want to hear that. I stood up immediately, went upstairs, changed, and said, "Let's go." And while we are going, he said, "What are you going to play?" I said, "What do you want to play, Biodun?" He said, "Okay, I'm going to play the bass guitar, you play the drums, and then later we will exchange. You will play the bass, I'll play the drums." Of course, as a young boy, we like to impress with this kind of
The
thing.
dexterity of this equipment.
So along the line when we are going, and he told me, "Let's take a short route so that we can get to church on time." I never knew.
The shorter route.
Yeah, let's take a shorter route to the
church.
church. So we have to take a bush path. I never knew bad boys are waiting for me.
Wow.
So when we got there, I was like, because I know the place not too far from Ilorin Post Office, just by the railway side. These boys just came out. The next thing I heard, "Yes, this is the rapist." I said, "Rapist? I'm not a rapist. I've never raped anyone." Before I knew what was happening, they took out this charm. We call it paro in Ilorin. This waist charm, Olunde.
Yeah.
I was beaten with it. Of course, they were expecting that I should fall down and maybe I wouldn't know. And before then, they showed me a very big sack. I said, "When we kill you, we'll put you inside this bag, tie it and throw it inside the river."
The other Fatoyinbo was there.
He was there, live and direct.
Was he walking?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
But I just want to believe he has been hired to inflict punishment on an innocent guy. And I was like, they were beating me. And when that charm never had any effect on me, they took out this UTC small axe.
Cutlass.
Yes,
Shorter
cutlass. This short, sharp cutlass. Said, "We are going to kill today." And of course, the guy that held the cutlass just straight towards my forehead. I defended my forehead with my palm. The axe and blood gushed out. I was like, what has happened?
But what was Biodun Fatoyinbo doing?
He was outside. He took me there and he was outside. It's an uncompleted building right inside the bush.
Don't you think there was conspiracy there?
So I was like, but what made me to be disorganized was this. The next thing I had, when the boys saw that this thing was not having any effect on me, Then Biodun said, don't kill him, just teach him a lesson of his life.
Oh, yeah.
Let him know that it is not good to rape.
So Biodun stood up against rape at the point of his life.
Of course, I can say it anywhere. My parents are still very much alive.
He stood up against rape.
Against rape. Biodun Fatoyinbo said, teach him a lesson of his life. Let him know that it's not good to rape. You only seek the consent of the lady if you want to have any intimacy with that girl. Why should you force a lady to say, Biodun, I've never committed anything. You know this girl to be my girlfriend right from the primary school. So why will I now be raping her? That's it. And he looked at me, he said, okay, you mean you didn't rape? I said, I did not. And for you to be assured that I'm telling you the truth, take me to that girl's house now. Of course, I was taken there. Of course, we met the girl.
You went with Biodun?
Oh, yes. And one of the guys that gave me the beating of my life. When we got there, we saw the girl. And he said, Mude sope kema lu Kayode o. I was like,
that they should not beat Kayode. So why did they come after you? Why did they swoop on you?
Well, I want to believe that it's just a way to pay back my dad of what transpired between my dad and that girl's dad.
Okay.
My dad stood against something which doesn't all go well with that girl's dad. So, to get back at my dad,
they had to.
And why I was confused was this: I never knew how they got Biodun Fatoyinbo involved. But all I knew was that, how could you rape? I said, Biodun, I don't rape this girl you are talking about. And of course, I was taken to her house, and when we got there, she saw me and said, oh, this, that, blah, blah. And I left. And when I got home, I kept quiet as if nothing has happened. But I wouldn't know how my mom got to know. When my mom just said, where are you? Somebody reported that they saw you and Biodun Fatoyinbo, that you entered bush. I said, it's true, mommy. I'm about to die. I was beaten with charm. Who beat you? I said, those boys that Biodun Fatoyinbo took me to. What was your offense? They accused me that I raped my girlfriend of 9 years. Sir, this is a girl that we are together in a house. I used to go to her house for holidays. We are family friends. My cousins will come all the way from Kaduna to come and spend their holidays in this girl's house. So you should know how close
you were.
We are. But somebody just came up and said, I raped her. I know Biodun Fatoyinbo to be an
rape
activist, even while we are growing up.
So he was quite popular for such a, activity.
Let me chip in something. After that incident, I was like living in danger. So I was confined to a particular area because I wouldn't know what happened next.
This
is an issue that involved even Biodun Fatoyinbo's dad, Chief Somi Fatoyinbo. I won't go deep into some certain areas. My father and this girl's dad were involved. My father was invited to a particular meeting over this issue. Biodun Fatoyinbo's dad was there. And the girl's father insisted that I should be killed, that I raped his daughter. I said, I did not rape anybody. Some people came, notable people in London Township, they came to my house, said, do you rape your girlfriend? I said, I did not rape her. Let her come. We have been dating for the past 9 years. Of course, we went to the same primary school before we now departed second, but we attended the same church. I was a member of the choir. I played the musical instrument. This particular girl was a member of the choir because her dad was the founder of the church. And my dad was like second in command. when the father had an issue with Christ Apostolic Church Authority, it was my father that stood as a journalist. Said he's going to use his journalism power to fight. So, and when things nosedive between them, then the next, if I'm not mistaken, I could remember vividly there was a time the girl's father told my dad that they should get us engaged. It was my dad that kicked against it. I said, how can we get secondary school people engaged? If God said they are going to be husband and wife, let's wait and see what happens before the whole thing now. And like I was saying, before I forgot, there was a day after this incident. I went to one of my friend's house and I met my friend, I think 7 of them, and they told me, hey, Kay, you are on point. I was like, you have killed somebody's fowl. You know? I know, the Akparu. Opiro. Opiro. Yeah. So I was expecting them to bring out rice and chicken. Somebody says, but they were like, come. Said, I should go into the room. I said, what is going on there? Let's eat. He said, no. Hey, it's your turn. I said, my turn for what? I said, so and so. So they were laying a girl in the room. Yes, they were taking a turn on her. I was like, I would never do that. In my life, I would never, ever do such a thing. I believe it's an abomination against the word of God. I was born in the church. I grew up in the church. So for somebody to lure me to sin against God, I said, no. I was the one that took that girl out. But do you know what dazed me? Where I was perplexed. And I asked that girl, that particular, I said, how could you allow yourself to be 7 men on you? What do you think? Then I was thinking of reporting the case to Biodun Fatoyinbo. That these guys are going to get the beating of their life. If Biodun Fatoyinbo should heard about this thing. But when the guy said, they are small, okay. Now, my brother, do you want to call that rape? No. When one girl you want to fight for is telling you one small. That was how the whole thing. Just forget about it. Fizzle out. And but when it was on me, I said, rape. When I move here, they say, rape girlfriend there. I was like, what kind of thing is this? You were tagged. I was tagged with what I never committed, with a crime I never committed. With a crime I never committed. I had my first affair after secondary school. Wow. Your 4th sexual affair? I'm telling you. And nowadays, I was preaching one day to men and boys, majorly men and boys. I said, if you had sexual intercourse and you are not legally married, you see 15 years old boy raising their hand that they have had. I say, hey, Jesus Christ, have mercy. Have mercy on us. So when all those things happened, it was then my parent consulted a particular Prophet Ariye. Said, the best thing is to get this boy out of this state. Because of this stain. Rape scenario. Yeah. And that is how I left. I couldn't take up my admission. Come and read sociology at Kwara State Polytechnic. Then my life was in shambles. My future was blinking then. I never thought God could raise me to this level. Oh, yeah. So when these... I mean, okay. When you now heard about Biodun Fatoyinbo being accused of raping, Busola Dakolo, what came to your mind? Of course, the first thing that came to my mind was I said, this could not be a rape allegation. They should target adultery. Biodun Fatoyinbo that I know will never commit such a crime. I don't care what others' opinion are about him. I'm not being paid. Definitely. I've never set my eye on Biodun Fatoyinbo since 1990. But if this guy could stood against rape as at then, how come that he has money, he has everything, and he will be raping? No, I don't want to believe such a thing. I know I'm repeating, I know Biodun Fatoyinbo to be an anti-rape activist. So I was like, and I sat down and I say, now if somebody is now accusing Biodun Fatoyinbo of rape, then God is paying back what he did to me. Because
It's like a comeuppance.
yes, nemesis. He never took his time then to get to the root of the matter
Of the allegations
of the
against you.
allegation leveled against me before surrendering himself to be used to punish me.
So you are taking it from the spiritual realm.
Oh, fast. I say, okay, this is nemesis. This is God paying him back with his own coin. I was beaten with charm, peradventure if I have died.
That would have
Then
been
I've
the end.
forgotten. Now God is using him. So if you allow a witch to kill you, and at the end of the day, that witch will repent, you are on your own.
So you are trying to make me to understand that what is happening to Biodun Fatoyinbo is a nemesis.
It's a nemesis, as far as
kind
I
of
am
karma.
concerned. Yes, karma. Whatever a man sow is what he's going to reap.
So how do you think he's going to get out of this?
Well, my advice.
You got out of yours.
I got out of mine. I'm doing well.
Yeah. So how do you think he's going to get out?
And let me tell you this before I will give him a piece of advice. Do you know that this girl in question came to me last year to ask for my forgiveness?
The lady that you are led
The
to
lady
have
that,
raped
yes, came to me last year, November.
when you set up your burning and shining light church?
That is maybe after 7 years.
Oh, right.
And before then, she had put a series of calls through to me that her life is in total disarray. And she have consulted men of God, and they ask her to look for me and ask for forgiveness, and I should pray for her so that she can get her balance in life. So I was surprised one of that particular, I think November 2018, she just came around. I wouldn't know, she just came, and I entered into the church, took the mic from my wife, and of course, you know, as a prophet, the moment I held the mic, I just pointed to her. Of course, I didn't know she was the one. I said, lady, the Lord said I should tell you that you need to be praying so that what is running after you will leave you to have a rest of life, that you have committed a sin that is truly you. And of course, she came, she knelt down, I prayed for her. Do you believe I didn't recognize her?
You couldn't recognize the lady.
Honestly speaking.
Your girlfriend of the past 9 years.
Oh, we are
your
talking about
childhood,
we are talking about 29 years ago,
Yeah.
and of course, how will I remember such a thing that put my life into total disarray? It's not a thing of joy.
Definitely.
I hate rape, sir. So she came and I prayed for her, and I left the church. I took my car key. I said, I'm going to somewhere. She ran after the car and said, sir, please. I said, from where? You know, I've just finished ministration. Please allow me to rest. I have an appointment. She said, you just have to leave because this is a matter of life. When I had that, I reversed.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I reversed. I said, okay, the Spirit of Lord Jehovah is upon me because he anointed me to preach the good tidings, to set the captives free. So let me go back. So I asked her from whom. I said, she mentioned her name. She removed her spectacle, and I said, how do you locate me? I said, I got to know your church address through Facebook. I said, oh. And I went back to church. I don't have an office in the church, but I'm building one. Because of all this, I'm learning from my past. I don't have close
I'm
intimacy.
trying to avoid intimacy.
Oh,
with,
I don't have any intimacy with women in the church. And I told my wife, watch over your husband.
You told your wife that?
Oh, watch over.
So you are quite aware of the fact that the women, they are feasting.
The moment you are gifted, the moment you are a man of God, you better ask your wife to watch over you.
But what really are women looking for in men of God?
Of course, I wouldn't know. Maybe the anointing, maybe, I don't know. So this girl came and she begged me. And thank God that while I was dating my wife, I told her my past life experiences. I said, this had happened.
She should not be surprised.
So she wasn't surprised. Even when I asked the lady that let me introduce my wife to her, oh, she said, what a lucky woman, a destined woman that got what I lost.
She said that.
She said that in the house of God. And you know, women can be corny at times. That is why I love my chief media officer. I wouldn't know how she picked a shot.
Oh, the scene was actually recorded.
I said, good of you. Because somebody who can wake up tomorrow and be saying another thing. I have a text message she sent to me to thank me and my wife for accepting her and praying for her. So that was how I left the whole issue. But when Biodun Fatoyinbo was I said, hey, even if you have committed adultery, now they have turned it to rape for you. Because you alleged me of rape. You punished me for rape, which I never did. But I said, Biodun, rape, okay. Biodun will not commit rape. Except, don't let me say what I want to say. If I've known him to be fighting against such a thing, how will he stoop so low to commit rape? Then, if I had anybody come in and say, go and report the person to Biodun, let Biodun come and
deal with the person.
Deal with the person. But because I was wrongfully alleged, and he took it up upon himself without investigating. This is what is happening. Nemesis. Law of karma.
So, if Biodun Fatoyinbo walks into this studio today, what will you tell him, Pastor Adeyemi?
Okay, I will just tell him straight off to go and ask God for mercy. To forgive him for putting my life into disarray for 10 years. Honestly, I'm not ashamed to tell anybody that I never go to the university. But
the circumstance led to that.
I'm telling you the truth. Rape is a crime. It's a dent upon whoever committed it in the society. Even such person should be hanged if found guilty. So Biodun Fatoyinbo should just go to God and ask God for forgiveness. Of course, both of us were nobody then, but God has not forgotten.
So what do you think Busola Dakolo should do then?
Well, the girl should just have a place in her heart to forgive Biodun Fatoyinbo of her grievances. But not, I don't think
there must be something.
Because I don't want to believe this issue is rape. Going by my personal experience. All these people talking, they don't have any, all these people talking, some on the side of Biodun Fatoyinbo, some on the side of Busola Dakolo. It is only two of them that can tell us the truth, as I'm telling you the truth that happened. It is only myself and my ex-girlfriend that can really say the truth of what happened. Now, nobody was there. Our father is no more alive to see that his daughter came back to beg me. She asked me for my parents' phone number, that she wants to go and meet them for prayer too.
Oh dear.
So what are we talking about? Biodun should go back to God and ask God for forgiveness. I have forgiven him as a person. The day I got to know that he's now a minister of God, I was so happy. I said, oh, glory be to God. Èmi tán fẹ́ pa, mo ti dìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run. Ẹni tán ní kó wá pa mí, torí ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ tí mi ṣẹ̀, ó ti dìránṣẹ́ Ọlọ́run. Glory be to God. I've been keeping quiet when these rants. I say, I think I need to say something. I know, say this, I may become some people's enemy. I don't care.
At least the burden has been
left burden
of your chest.
Biodun that I know. I'm not siding anybody on the case of adultery. And to the best of my knowledge, I think they should call this scenario adultery.
And not rape.
And not rape. Because I've known Biodun Fatoyinbo to have dealt with me because somebody told lie against me that I raped her. And of course, do you know when I asked that girl in question, she said it was an idea of some people that they should tell that lie.
Against you.
Against me. So it is easy for anybody to tell a rape lie
Okay.
against somebody. When we are talking about rape, there should be concrete evidence, like mark. This is a mark. I can tell you what this mark is all about.
Yeah.
This is a mark on my forehead. This mark is stubbornness. I can tell you so many marks. But now, an issue that has happened 19 years ago, I'm not saying 19 years issue cannot be raised, as I'm raising mine 29 years ago. After. So what are we talking about? So Biodun Father, you should just go back to God, ask God for forgiveness, and if there is any...
Even the girl's case, she said her sister was upset. Yeah.
Now, I think the sister should speak up too.
That her sister, younger sister, was being raped, and she never heard.
Well, she's the only one that can tell the truth. You as a journalist, you cannot tell the truth.
No,
you are
I
not
can only
there.
report.
You can only report. You know I fear you people.
Okay. That was one.
I fear him too.
Well, it's been quite interesting talking to you, Pastor Adeyemi.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm happy that you've been able to, pour out your heart, and I think you are free this time around.
Of course.
As regards the rape issue, allegation against you about 2 decades ago, and of course for Biodun Fatoyinbo, like you said, you should return to God and pray for forgiveness. Thank you for coming on our program.
Thank you, sir.
Flip Chats. I hope we have you again in our studio.
By the grace of God.
God bless you. Well, it's been nice talking to Pastor Kayode Adeyemi of the Burning and Shining Light Church on the raging Coza issue of rape and how it concerns him. I mean, in respect of the fact that he had to think back some 2 decades ago and try to recollect what happened between him and Pastor Biodun Fatoyinbo. He believed this is the time, this is karma, and of course the man should go back to God and pray for forgiveness. Until we meet again on this program, Flip Chat, my name is Biodun. Thank you very much.